Okay, in this session, we're going to go through adding a reservation to the platform manually. And there's a fair bit to take into account here. So when you first land on the page, which is under new reservation, it's going to ask you for the date and time automatically. You can click anywhere on the page and that will disappear, or click back and it'll pop up again. So you may want to ask the first question to the customer is when do they want the car? And then obviously there's a time element as well. Okay. If this page has been open for a long time, this information would be stale, and you can click the ASAP button and it will populate plus 10 minutes. Okay. If this was a recurring ride, so very similar to the way that Microsoft Outlook works, you can have every one day, every weekday, Monday to Friday, end by a particular date, okay, or end after 5 occurrences. You can go add. So that's daily, weekly would be recur every 1 week, every Monday, for example. Again, end after 5, and then you click add, or monthly on the first day of every 1 month. Or you can do it down here as well. So exactly the way first Monday, first Tuesday. So exactly the same Microsoft Outlook works. Once you add it, you can then highlight and remove, obviously, any mistakes you've made. Once you're ready, this list has to be populated. If you haven't got any data in here or you haven't clicked add, nothing will happen. And then you just go ahead and click save, and that will save all of those dates in the background ready. If it's simple, taking to the airport and picking up and bringing back, then return trip. You can check the box there. There's another way down here which will show you in a short time. We'll also show you user search after we put this reservation in. So come down to the next row, we've got passenger and booker details. Unlikely to be the same. A booker is normally somebody who books on behalf of a passenger. But if it's just the passenger booking for themselves, the information goes in here. The mobile telephone number, including the international dial code. It's important to send communications by SMS to the customer if booking confirmation and vehicle status en route arrived. And then obviously the mobile number. Email address, again, sends communication, so booking confirmation email, like a voucher to the email address, and ride status updates as well. If you have more than one passenger, let's just say you're picking up a group of people, you may have one of them is a lead passenger, kind of a point of contact, and you want to be able to highlight that to the driver. So the driver knows exactly the person in the group that they need to communicate with. You can set the communication, so the booking communication and ride statuses go out in whatever language you set here. And then you just go ahead and you add another one. Oops. Okay. Like that, the email address, not the primary passenger this time, and maybe that needs to go out in French. So you don't need to, unless you're adding another one, you don't need to click the add another button here because you already have this row here completed and this one here. So coming down to the address panel, there's various ways of adding an address. You can type one in. You can type in a postcode, obviously. You can type in a full address and it will come up, and you just select it and it will populate. Let's just say it's picking up at an airport, so we could actually go to the flight details panel. I know one that's coming in this evening, so we'll do FR8842 search. So it goes off to flight stats and validates the information, so it gives us the arrival terminal as well and the arrival time. So the first thing I want to do is populate the address. Okay, and that has actually populated, just bear me 1 second, all the information there. So there's a little bit more here. So expected gate exit is quite important. So the passenger knows that they're going to be out in 20 minutes because they haven't got any luggage at all. But if they know they're going to be an hour because they've got some visa restrictions or passport control they know they're going to have issues with, or maybe some big luggage that they're waiting for. The meeting point you could apply here. Information desk. Have they got no luggage, hand luggage, or hold luggage? It's just information that's good for the driver to know that, that they're waiting for hold luggage. And are there any visa requirements? Not used very often, but it's good to know. So we've got our pickup address populated here. We come off to the drop-off address, so we can start selecting one from the list. I can actually go to a map, so I could select if it was off-road for some reason, or the address wasn't registered. It could be a film shoot in the middle of a field, in theory. So you go to the position where you know the building is, you click on the map, and you can select location, and that will populate this field for you. All addresses must have a longitude, latitude, because that's how we make calculations, especially when the vehicle's en route, to notify the customer. So we have to have a longitude, latitude. So you must have a full set of data in here. So address notes for this one could be anything. Could be road closed. So we could have something like the road is closed. Drop at the blockade. Not a great example. An address note for a pickup could be something like the road's closed. The entrance is in, and then kind of list another street. It's just giving more and more information to the driver. So there may be some via addresses, so I can add another drop here. I can okay, so I can add another address, okay, and that populates the fields for me. I can add address notes there if I need to. Again, I can click from the map if it's not registered, if I can't find it. But I can also add passengers here as well, which is interesting because if you're going to 3 or 4 pickups, especially for a minivan people mover job, they know who they're picking up exactly at each of the addresses. So instead of having a list of addresses and a list of passenger names, you know exactly who you're looking for at each address. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add the via. And we can just keep adding vias here, and then we can drag them, we can move them up and down, we can remove them, we can change the order if we've got it wrong. So before we come on to the ride matrix, let's just carry on with on the right hand side here with attributes. So the passenger may require a baby seat, for example, and that is €5 plus tax, 20%. So we can add that attribute. The attribute could be an instruction like extra large luggage that doesn't have a cost at all. And in the admin module, so I'm just going to change screens here so you can see service types, attributes where we are here. So you can build these out. That's covered in its own video here. Okay, so you just keep building that list out, and it will add to the price of the job if there's any cost associated with it. But that appears on the voucher confirmation and also on the driver app, so the driver has all this information. Here we have special instructions, so they're shared with the customer, the driver, all your internal staff, shared with everyone. Private notes, that could be something like don't send driver 234, okay, or anything that's sensitive that you don't want anyone else to see. Shared notes, so if you're assigning this ride to an affiliate, not necessarily one of your drivers, then you would fill out your notes here, whatever you want to share with the affiliate. So it's only you and the affiliate get to see it, the driver doesn't, the passenger doesn't. And the passenger doesn't see this one either. Notes specifically for the driver. And it could be, let's say John needs assistance to vehicle. Okay, so that the driver gets this note. It's specific to the driver. Okay, so nobody else needs to see it. Marketing references, well, it's very simple. Where did you find us? Google, I've used you before, whatever, and there's a report in the back end where you can see where these reservations are coming from. Okay. So coming down to the ride matrix, you now need to choose the account that this is going to be booked on. So whatever accounts you've set up. If these passengers work for the Bank of Ireland, then it's going to generate the prices now for service types for the Bank of Ireland. And unfortunately, the only price we seem to have put in here is the executive saloon, so apologies for that. But these are the service types we added in the back end, which is some test data and obviously the executive saloon. But because we've chosen Bank of Ireland, it populates this so you can control these on the account. Some accounts you might not want to send a text message to, some you do. And obviously email confirmations. And quiet mode is also set at the account, so on the driver's app it would say this customer has requested quiet mode. Okay, so they know not to talk to the customer. So we have here specific references that we need to capture just for the Bank of Ireland, and that's configured against the account in admin. So this particular customer wants a cost center and it's mandatory. You can see it's required. So we just put that in there. Project reference and case number, not required. If you see the video in admin accounts, you'll understand these more. But they change, and they change based on the selection here, because Bank of Ireland might have a specific phrase for the references they want to capture. Another customer may want something else. So as soon as we selected the Bank of Ireland, we can see that there's dispatcher notes here. Please make sure you add the booker name. It could say, please read back booking data to customer whilst on the phone. Okay, so it's just a highlight, just so there's some notes, so you can change those notes or add to them as and when you want. So our options now, we have book now, which would submit the booking into the system, ready for dispatching. We have change price, so I can click on this, I can affect the price. So I've got my attributes, I've got my via charge that's been set up in the pricing matrix. So that's the customer column. There were no prices added for the driver column here in the previous demo we did, so that's showing 0. So I can, if it's a quote, I can save this and send an email to the customer, and that's saved under quotes. So when they want to convert it into a booking, you don't have to go through the process again. Okay. I can just save the quote, maybe because I've given the reference number to the customer, and these options will cover elsewhere. So I can put the email address in here and just save and send quote or book now once after I've made the changes. So again, change price, send quote, book and review. So I can click the book and review button. It will submit it as a booking and bring it back onto this page in edit mode, so I can see all the information if I just want to make sure. Book and flip, so if I don't want to use the return trip here, I can select book and flip, which will submit the booking, bring it back into bring a new booking back into edit mode, and it would have swapped these addresses around, so the pickup would be here, and the via would still exist. And then book and copy. So if I don't want to use the recurring box up here, if I don't want to use that, I can use book and copy. So it will submit the booking, it will load a new booking in edit mode, exactly the same details in exactly the same order. And then I can just change the date or the time, whatever's required. Just going to go ahead now and click on book now. And when the page reloads, you can see that it's been booked in here. I can click this link and it will load it up in edit mode. There's other places where you can edit the booking as well. So the system does work with virtual PBXs. So if you're business runs a virtual soft phone environment in your office, not a traditional landline. As the call comes in, we can show you on this page who's calling, and then their last bookings. So as you answer the phone, you can answer it very personally. And it works very similar to this. So if somebody's rung and they've used you before, here's John that we just submitted as a booking. I can click OK, and that will then show me the last collection and destination addresses that John has booked and the last accounts that he's booked on. So again, it's Bank of Ireland. If I click OK, that will now populate the page behind, as you can see. So I have all the information in there that I need. Okay, it's just an easy way. So you can use a search. We've only got one booking in the system, but you could have hundreds of people in here or thousands of people. And as you start to type, it will filter by telephone number, email address, which there is none here, or the passenger name. What it won't do, of course, is it won't populate the cost centers and project references because they need to be captured at every time. But again, the same process, get price, it will generate the price and then book now, and that's it. And just to finish off, I'll show you the edits. So just by clicking on this link from here, you can see that it's populated all of the information, including the VIA and the extras up there. It's populated the cost center and the price, and I can update changes here, and the customer will get a email voucher with the changes highlighted. I can duplicate the booking from here as well, so an edited booking I can duplicate, or I can book a return. So again, I can flip it back and create a new booking, and it tells you which booking you're editing up here as well. Thanks for watching.